he asked, releasing Brooke partially from the hug and faced me. The scent of fresh, almost citrus smell washed over me, and I felt as if the floor dropped away from my feet. The guy, Dean, got a similar expression of surprise. My heart raced and my mouth dry as one word jumped to my mind: a circumflex mate. He let go of Brooke and stepped towards me, in which I stepped back. "Wow, he said with a goofy grin on his face. I started to think, and you're wow ... and wow. The smile grew, and my heart sped even faster. My whole body was high alert with sensations and feelings so new and intense I could hardly breathe. "So what can I call you besides beautiful?" he asked and reached out for my hand. Panic seized me and instinct took over. I jerked back and punched him hard. The guy's eyes rolled up, and he fell flat on his back, out cold blood and rushing from his nose. "Dean," Brooke yelled, patting his cheek. "Why did you do that?" My throat tightened. My eyes were wide, panic still in control. I turned and ran out of the room, shoving people aside if I had to. Back in my room, I slammed my door closed and leaned against it. I covered my face with my hands. What the hell did I just do? Did Brooke call the guy Dean as an alpha, Brent's second son? Oh crap, father was going to kill me. 2-3, I changed out of the dress, resisting the urge to rip it to shreds. Instead, I laid it on the bed. Not its fault I screwed up. I changed into a tank, jeans, and my boots and sat on the bed waiting for father to come. I didn't think it would be long before what happened got around. As soon as the door opened, I stood in military rest. His eyes blazed amber as he stared at me from the doorway, his expression twisted in a fury. Father straightened his posture, visibly taking a deep breath. "Well, I'm sorry, sir." "You're sorry? That's all you have to say. I have spent the evening attempting to find the pack's new alpha only to have you assault the hosting alpha's son in front of everyone, and the only thing you have to say is you're sorry. I have never been more humiliated in my life, girl. I can only thank God your mother wasn't here to see this. All you had to do was smile and be friendly to the men there. What kind of girl are you if you can't even do that?" I clenched my teeth together to keep from saying I was the girl he made me. After Brandon had left, he pushed me to be more like a boy, more like the son he'd lost. I couldn't tell him, though, he didn't carry a circumflex. The alpha got what the alpha wanted, period. "It's disgusting and embarrassing," father spat, his face reddening. "It would be better if you remained in this room until we return home. This way you can't cause any more trouble. If th. She didn't cause any trouble," someone said, surprising both of us. It was the guy Dean. Behind him were his parents. None of them looked pleased. "Excuse me," father said, looking unsettled at the three standing in the hallway. "She didn't cause any trouble," Dean insisted. "It was completely my fault." Alpha Brent cleared his throat and gave father a tight smile. "I was hoping your daughter could clear up the events of this evening so I may fully understand what exactly happened." "Of course," father said, stepping aside, shooting me a look, no doubt in warning. The alpha and his mate and Dean came into the room, making it feel super crowded. My skin itched having them all inside. "Please tell me what happened this evening," the alpha asked. I glanced at father, then back to the alpha. "I punched your son, knocking him out." A rumble came from father. "He means why, girl. Why did you hit him?" The alpha's brow furrowed as he glanced at father. "Damn, of course, sorry, sir," I said, scrambling for an answer, but nothing was coming to mind. I couldn't bring myself to say that word, or I panicked and simply reacted. "Well," father demanded when I didn't say anything. "I pushed her, obviously." Dean jumped in. He took a step in my direction, but when I stepped back, he retreated. He flashed me a quick grin. "You don't need to cover for me. Everyone knows I can be an idiot and say stupid crap all the time. It's cool." I glanced at him, confused. What was he doing? I turned my head to the front, staring straight. "I'm not covering for anyone, sir or alpha. My actions are my own." For some reason, the alpha smiled. "So I see. All right, I've seen and heard enough. I do not want any more violence here in the pack house. Is that understood?" "Yes, alpha, I understand, sir." Again, he gave me another small smile that disappeared when he turned to father. "I believe my son has the right of it. This is all a misunderstanding, and if it doesn't happen again, I'm fine with forgetting it ever happened. You're a generous man, Alpha Brent, and it won't happen again." The alpha nodded and left the room, followed by his mate. The Dean again started to step towards me when father stepped between us. "Thank you, Alpha's son, for being so understanding of my daughter's slip of control." A flash of frustration had passed through Dean's face before he grinned at father. "Sure, no problem. Welcome to Blue Crescent. When he left, Father growled at the closed door. Well, that was not so bad, he said, then turned to me. But I don't like that boy. He's a ripe idiot. Nothing but a clown from what people say. I want you to stay away from him. No problem. Yes, sir. He let out a little growl. I don't like his father much either. All this anti-violence stuff. We're werewolves. We are violence. I see why Black Mountain wanted to kill him. Weakness is ripe. Here you will stay out of sight as much as possible, and maybe I will be able to fix this mess. Yes, sir. The next morning, John came by to see me. He grabbed a chair and sat down in it with the back of the chair against his front. So how bad was it? I need to know how much I can mess this guy up. What, the guy you hit? How bad can I mess him up? I shook my head. John, if he needed to be messed up, you don't think I would have done it by now? Yeah, but it's cleaner if I do it. A circumflex, make sure you have an alibi. I shook my head, hugged my legs to my chest. He didn't do anything. It was me. Come off it. I've seen you take a lot of crap from people, and you didn't hit them outright like. He did something. He didn't. I insisted, and my cheeks warmed. He's God, John. He's my mate. There, I said it. Understanding blossomed in his face. HM, why didn't you tell anyone? I shrugged, looking at my hands. I don't know. Perhaps you should use tea. No, Father doesn't like him, thinks he's an idiot. If I told him no, let's stick to the plan of the fake mate. All right, well, until I find someone, how about we go do something? I'm supposed to stay out of sight, I told him. So we'll go to the gym. You need to blow off some steam. We can't have you go around punching people, so time to put the energy to some good use. Besides, you haven't done anything since we got here. I can't have you getting flabby on me. So get your ass up off that bed. All right, let me get changed and we'll go. The gym sounds a lot better than sitting here, I said, and as he started to leave the room, I cleared my throat. And John, you ever hint I'm getting flabby, I will crush you, got it? He snorted and rolled his eyes. Bring it, McFlabby, he replied, then left. I grinned and changed out of my jeans into gi pants and leaving my shoes here before joining him outside. As we walked, people avoided us, or more like it was me. From the angry glares, I'm pretty sure it was me they were avoiding. Wow, looks like this Dean guy is popular, John whispered to me. Good, I don't want to make friends, I replied, keeping my voice hard. I didn't want them or John to know how badly I really felt about hitting him or how people now hated me for it. 3-4 Dean, I groaned as I saw Mom waiting for me outside the men's locker rooms. I'm fine, I said before she could say anything. Are you sure? She didn't just break your nose, she crushed it. Yeah, I know. I was there, remember, I told her and waved my hand over my face. But I healed and I don't even have a bruise. I appreciated the worry, but it also irritated the crap out of me. She wouldn't be Mother Henningrider, my older brother, like this. Mom pursed her lips as she looked at my face. Are you sure about her? I mean, perhaps you were merely fascinated by her. I snorted. Really, Mom? I get you all think I'm out there, but I'm not that far out there. She smiled and gave my shoulder a squeeze. Sorry, it's only she's so. I know, I said, grinning, remembering my mate in the black dress. Mom sighed, snapping me out of my daydream. Okay, new rule. No mentally undressing your mate in the presence of your mother. Then let's change the subject, because if not, I said, waggling my eyebrows at her. Good Lord, Dean, Mom said with a sigh. I'm afraid I'm going to be mending your nose quite a bit in the near future. So are you done for today? I let out a breath. Yeah, finally. I probably should be going before I get sucked into the overnight shift. The boss is such a slave driver. Your boss is a very lovely and dedicated person. I snorted again. You would say that, especially since she was my boss. Mom laughed, shaking her head at me. Tell your father I might not make dinner tonight. I'm trying to work out the schedules for everyone. That ditzy Shelley wants off yet again. This is what? Her fourth funeral for a grandmother. Right, well later, Mamacita. I saluted her and left the hospital. The drive home, my thoughts returned to my mate Nicole. Brooke had told me her name was. She seemed to be more skittish than Brooke was when she first arrived. I could ask Ryder a circumflex note, I so wasn't going to ask him anything. He and Andy would never let me live it down. They were already teasing me bad enough as it was. No, I'd handle this on my own. She was gun shy or something. It's possible she had a jerk of an ex or something. I only had to play it cool. The house was noisier than usual, but it was expected with almost every room full. While I usually enjoy being around people, I wasn't so sure I liked so many strangers here made my instincts go a little crazy. Hey, Dean, Kara said, waving me over. What's up? Decide to dump Annie for a real man, I teased. Yeah, where I can find one. I grinned. Normally I'd say something crude, but it didn't seem right to say it now. Right, she said. Well, FYI, your mate, the girl who knocked you out, is in the gym alone. I grinned and threw my arms around her in a bear hug. You're the bestest friend ever. With a grunt, she tried to slap my arm. Let me down, you dork. I set her down, but by the time she swung to slap my arm again, I was jogging down the hall. True enough, my mate was in the gym, lifting a dumbbell the size of my head. I swallowed. Okay, proceeds with caution. I put on my best flirty grin. I walked into the gym. Hey, beautiful, I said, sitting on a bench next to hers. Her eyes lifted to meet mine, surprised and wide, before she lowered them again and continued to lift and lower the dumbbell, not saying anything. When she switched arms, I figured I was going to have to insist. So beautiful. Her head ducked lower and her shoulders tensed. Don't call me that. Sure thing, sexy. Her head shot up. Her eyes blazed angrily and her lips were pursed. Do you want to die? I threw up my hands. What did I say? Her eyes narrowed. Go make fun of someone else. I'm busy. Make fun of you? I'm trying to introduce myself as sexy. I'm not stupid. Got it, she said, and I tried not to flinch as she dropped the weight to the floor. Stop calling me beautiful or sexy or whatever. I'm not any of those things. Right? Well, at least we're talking. Well, that's a matter of opinion. Beautiful. Now I'm Dean, a Leo. I like long walks on the beach, cuddling, and you. What may I call you besides beautiful or sexy? She got a bewildered look on her face. Are you serious? Yep, did your mother drop you on your head? Or you get in an accident that scrambled you up here, she asked, tapping her finger on her temple. Or are you just special? I grinned, leaning back. I think I'm pretty special, but you'll have to take me for a test drive to find out if it's true or not. She shook her head. Can you stop? Nope, so beautiful. Stop. Sexy then. She growled at me. Cutie. Shut up. Gorgeous. Fine, Nick. Call me Nick, she said, her voice a husky, exasperated growl, and I loved it. With a triumphant grin, I sat upright. See, was that so hard? Good Lord. Yes, she said, rolling her eyes. Now what do you want? I mean, like, really? I shrugged. What else to talk and get to know each other? We're mates after all. Her eyes had widened for a second before she put on an expression of disinterest. Right, well, listen here, I'm not pretty, and I'm not soft. I'm not like the girls around here. I snapped my fingers. That's what it was. I had a feeling there was something different, but I couldn't put a name to it. Again, she narrowed her eyes at me, but before either of us said anything, someone cleared their throat. Excuse me, a big, bulky man said, looking as if he wasn't trying to smile. Nick, your father is looking for you. Nick shot up, looking worried. How long? Not long, but you better hurry. Right, she said, and started toward the door and halted. Could you not tell your father you were talking with him? Of course, the man said, giving her a small smile. Go, I watched her leave, feeling disappointed I didn't get to talk to her longer. I stood to leave when the bulky man stopped me. Careful, funny man. I stopped and stared at him. Excuse me. Careful, he repeated. You hurt her, and you'll regret it. Oh, great. I wanted to roll my eyes like Nick had done earlier. Not planning to. Good, he said. He's still not letting me pass. Avoiding the alpha might be in your best interest. He doesn't like you, and when he discovers you're her mate, he's going to like you even less. Really? And he seemed like such a great guy as he was yelling at her for something that was her fault yesterday. The man smirked down at me. That what you heard was nothing. He's yelled at her a lot worse than that. Do her a favor and don't give him a reason to do it again. He turned around and walked out of the gym. My chest tightened with the urge to run him down and vow her father would never yell at her again, but who was I kidding? He wouldn't take me seriously. I put the weight back where it was and started to leave when werewolf I didn't recognize came in. Ah, good. Just the man I was looking for, he said, grinning at me.